Okay. Sister Sacred Infinite, feel free to speak, sister.
Peace and blessings to you, Shaka, and peace and blessings to everyone on the panel and everyone in the chat. I just wanted to give my take on things as far as the gossip in the conscious community. What I want to say, Shaka, is it seems as if, when you shed light onto people's dirty, devilish things that you do, it seems like nobody wants to deal with it. I feel like these things, people should be put in the hot seat. We should be dealing with it as a conscious community, correcting it, and say that we don't approve of it, instead of terming it gossip or, oh, that's old news. How can anything ever be old news when people are constantly being introduced to the conscious community? Everyone didn't arrive at the same time, and not only is it some of this stuff isn't old, some of this stuff is actually happening right now, and it is a conversation, even if it's tough, that needs to be had.
All right.
Are you accused of molesting your wife's niece, who is your niece through marriage?
I have no recollection of that. You would have to inform me of what you're talking about. I have no recollection of that.
Okay, I will be able to one day. So I have my third question. Captain Cesario, do you have a homie that's in prison right now for child molestation that you support financially?
Yes.
But I thought you were against child molestation and those that are molesters to children.
I am against child molestation and those that molest children.
So why are you supporting this person, but you speak ill against others that have a love for people that have been just accused of child molestation?
Okay, I'll answer your question very easily. When I was at both cases of both trials, the evidence that they had, they gave the brother a lie detector test, which he passed. They tested the sister for the young girl, whether her hymen was broke because he was accused of molesting her. Her hymen was not broke. A hymen, for those that don't know, a hymen is something that they use to test to see if the woman's or the child's virginity has been broken or anything like that. There was information that she said that she gave, which she then retracted. So the first case that they did was thrown out. The second case, they did not want to answer to. The jury was hung on it, and the judge did not want to release them until they came up with an answer, and then they came up with a guilty verdict. So from observing the case, if he was guilty of the crime, I would in no way support the brother. But from the evidence of the case, from the testimonies of him as well as the individuals involved, he was not guilty, even though he was found guilty.
Wow, so he was not guilty, even though he was found guilty, but you speak ill against someone else that is not guilty, but they say he was guilty. So I have a question. This brother that you support, does he have children?
Yes.
And if so, do you ever say to those children, you have a father that's a child molester?
No, I don't.
Well, why do you do that to others that have a love for Dr. Malachi Z. York Ill and of his children of him being a quote-unquote so-called child molester, and you speak ill for supporting him? What's that? What's that?
The Prophet Semitic Allah further down tells us was a black Here's the picture that he showed on the screen. It's a deity El, the god El. Pay attention to the crown or the headdress, if you will. This is a picture from the front of the same statue, a little closer, and a little bit from the side here. Now, this headdress is actually the Atef Crown. If you go on Webster's online dictionary, that's what it says. Atef is the specific feathered white crown of the Egyptian deity Osiris. It combines the head jet, the crown of Upper Egypt, with red ostrich feather for the Osiris cult. The Atef crown identifies Osiris in ancient Egyptian painting. If you go to Webster's dictionary, Merriam-Webster, it says Atef, hold on, a tall crown with a long feather on each side, shown in the art of ancient Upper Egypt as worn by Osiris. Okay? Here you can see Osar or Osiris with the Atef crown. This is from the papyrus of Nebket. It's actually in the Louvre Museum, and you can see me filming that papyrus on the video entitled Reality Check. Why black people ain't going nowhere. But you might as well put Afro Style Reality Check. It's going to come up. And in here, it's also from the Louvre Museum. You have Osiris in the middle with the Atef crown, and the description for it. If you go on the website of the Louvre Museum and you type Royal and Divine Triad, you can do a search and you will see they mention that he is actually wearing the Atef crown. Now, finally, you can compare the crowns. Okay, first you have the god of the Arabs Negroes, which first is El, but somehow, some way becomes Allah. But that's up to y'all. That's up to the doctor. And then you have the one that I showed you, Osiris. Then again, from the front, compared with another statue of Osiris, and then finally the same statue from another angle.
Biblical King's Seal discovered in dump site. This is the royal seal of the King Hezekiah, and here we have an Ankh. And finally, last but not least, you need to see it to believe it. The God of the Bible, El, slept in his own dung and urine. This is Ugaritic narrative poetry, page 195. And we also have this book here, the Masriah in the prophetic literature, where it clearly says that El floundered in his own feces and urine.
We haven't brought closure to Karinga. We let him build a holiday. The same one who set up Black Panthers in ambushes at UCLA and other places. The same one who tortured his wife and another woman brutally, sticking bottles in their vagina, using electrical shocks, and the FBI saved him.
He has not atoned to the community for his attempt to destroy the Panther movement. He has not atoned for being a police informer. He has not atoned for the way he treated black women. And look now, the women he mistreated and mutilated were dark in complexion. The women in his harem are light in complexion. The number one woman is a Mexican with what seemed to be an Afro wig.
Since I've been a part of this conscious community, sexual misconduct has been condemned and vilified almost unanimously. We saw the rise and fall of Dr. York. We had Hebrew Israelite, the brother by the name of Mighty Hebrew. He was convicted, I think, twice for sexual behavior against minors. He was widely condemned by the Hebrew Israelite community, but apparently forgiven by the Israelites, because I see him all over the place right now on everybody's channel. Another brother by the name of Nazi Yashavel, another Israelite, also involved in sexual misconduct with a minor. We have no idea where this brother is, but he's been sheltered somewhere by an Israelite group.
I'm gonna tell you why, because I'm an Israelite and Tazariak Israelite, and I think his doctrine is off compared to what we teach it. We both had the same mission, but he's telling the Israelites it's okay to mix race, right? He's telling that they got a doctrine saying that if a child reached a flower, they could be 15 or 9 years old, you can have sex with them.
Now, Cyanide, if you don't mind, you said that other people teach that you can have sex with a 9-year-old girl. Like, do you mind telling which other Hebrew Israelite organization teach that? Because you see, I'm not from New York, you know, so to me it's news, and I'd like to know when I go to New York with my daughter where I should avoid going. So if you don't mind, Cyanide, which other Hebrew Israelite organization teach that thing that GMS teach?
Well, there's a lot of Hebrew Israelite groups out there that that teach that. I'm not calling out no names or nothing like that. All I'm gonna tell you is that a lot of them teach that, brother. A lot of Hebrew Israelites teach that.
Can I ask you a question, Cyanide?
Yeah.
You said he's a pedophile. You were talking about Nazi, were you?
Yes.
Can you just tell us what it is about? And you see, I'm not going to say, oh, you talk about people, you know, that's what everybody does.
No. This is different. Yassavel, you know, because the Hebrews would say anything about polite real quick, but they own man. Nazi Yashavel ended up being a goddamn pedophile, having sex with one of his wife's daughters, man. And he got ran out of town.
How old was she, the girl?
I don't know.
Was she underage?
Reggie, do you remember that?
She was underage, and yeah. But you know, look.
And guess what? Hebrews tried to cover that shit up, but it was coming out so quick and hard.
We have those guys who've been convicted for sexual misconduct. Garfield Reed spoke about this. Yourself, you spoke about Nazi. And Garfield Reed said that Hebrew camps are sheltering Nazi. So, and, you know, it's sensitive because I know he's your friend. But, you know, Mighty Hebrew, several people have said that he was convicted for sexual misconduct, that he went to jail for that. He did. How are you going to...
He did.
Well, oh, well, okay, well, you know, so you'll confirm it. You know, so why?
Yeah, everybody know that he went to jail for that. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? So obviously,
but Hebrews cover up for Hebrews. That's what they do.
All right. So
and they go on everybody's platform, and none of them niggas say a damn thing. But if I talk to Polite on the phone, oh man, how the fuck? So I'm never talking to Polite. Nigga, get the hell out of my chat. I talk to who I want to talk to. Innocent, like you said, is proven guilty, man.
Yeah, he was not convicted yet. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So Garfield Reed didn't lie then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When he talked about and Garfield Reed said even twice he thinks. Some people said that the second time is because he did not sign.
Yeah, he got violated. He got violated the second time. Yes.
Yeah. So what does it mean he got violated?
Well, he had a violation. I don't know why, but they came back and locked him up again on a violation charge, something like that. But all them niggas been doing that shit for a long time. Hebrews been out there molesting people and all that shit for a long time, and it's always covered up by other Hebrew Israelites. The only way we'll find out about it if we looking and searching and we see it. Oh shit, this pops up, and we catch it, you know. And then they'll come out and say something about it because we got them.
Which we teach now is that when you go into the law in the ancient world, men, if they saw a woman that they like, they can grab the woman up and rape the woman, man. and we're going to read the scriptures. We're going to read the scriptures.
Yeah, the scripture answer it better.
That's scripture.
Deuteronomy
22 and 25.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, I'm sorry, verse 28. My bad. Verse 28. Yeah, verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed.
The word virgin, by the way, is a Hebrew word. Let me see if I remember. Bathwala. All right. Now the prophecy of Mary, a virgin shall conceive the word there, virgin, is ayalama, which means young woman of marriageable age.
Gotcha.
Virgin in here means bathwala, virgin, a woman that never been, you know, hit, so to speak.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver,
dowry,
and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her, he may not put her away all his days.
Now, when you go back, and you know the Hebrew, when you go
like prostitution now.
No, he grabbed the woman in the field. The word, no. He humbled it. He gave it to the father after the fact. The word humble, when you go into the Hebrew, the word humble is the word aina. Yep. When you look up the word aina, it means to force, to take by force, to arrest. So what does that word mean? Rape. Yeah. It means rape.
If somebody was to rape your grandbaby that's 12 years old, you will be all right with that, God forbid. You will be all right with that?
In the kingdom, I couldn't do nothing about it in the kingdom.
Let me ask you a question, brother. Before this keeps going, we have to ask you a question. How many of you are fathers here? Just be for real. If you're a father. Now, what if someone is overwhelmed by the spirit of the Most High God, and he reads your scripture and he take your daughter and he just rape your daughter? What do you say to that? If he live like you live, walk like you walk, talk like you talk, because y'all live amongst each other. Yeah. Y'all live amongst each other. So what happens when one of y'all feels so overwhelmed by the spirit of God that when you see one of each other's daughters, you just grab her up? You gonna tell one of these brothers here, come on, you know the doctrine, you know how we get when you get.
Well, answer it.
We just told you that.
How would y'all respond?
In this time,
But if it did happen, you would allow it to happen. Why? Because you go back to the scriptures.
You're supposed to be a brother.
Hold on. You're gonna allow one of your brothers to rape your daughter?
You say rape as if rape simply means to grab.
No. We talking about. Now we read the verse. Where someone was in the kingdom of heaven.
We read the verse, man. When the kingdom is established, we're gonna get women when they 12 years old. Right. All right.
Say it again.
As soon as they start in the kingdom of heaven, when their period starts, that's when they become a woman.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna deal with them when their period starts.
Right.
When their monthly starts.
Question.
Have sex with them. Have babies, man.
With 12-year-olds?
Brother, there's in the kingdom, we're gonna do that, man. We're gonna get them young. We're gonna get them young.
And the kingdom is
the kingdom is right here, but the Most High is gonna establish the kingdom, right? No, look up in Google women that were pregnant under the age of 12. You got 9-year-old women that were pregnant. You got 11-year-old that were pregnant. Yeah. As soon as they get their period, they become a woman.
When did Eve become a woman?
I said our leaders belong to us. They don't belong to him being Puerto Rican or even white. Why do ISUPK? Because you want to claim somebody to be your brother. Why is it okay for him to disrespect any of our leaders, no matter who they are?
Okay, I don't know what leaders you're talking about, but Kadazar or the Titan.
One of them, and he was
making Martin Luther King ain't shit. So I mean, I agree with him.
Well, even if you said it, even if you said it.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you. So Taino Indians, listen. Let me answer your question. Taino Indian
passed away. Everything changed. No, it took time for things to change. I know because
I don't want to talk about Martin Luther King, but Taino Indians are my brothers, just like Dominicans, like Cyanide is my brother, just like Haitians are my brother.
I'm African, brother. I'm African.
You Dominican. Your daddy Dominican.
I'm African Dominican.
So if Cyanette's Dominican ass can be my brother and can talk about Martin Luther King, then Katazar's Puerto Rican ass can be my brother and talk about Martin Luther King.
But that makes you sound like a sucker.
So then can Cyanette as a Dominican talk about Martin Luther King? I'm asking you a question.
No, I say that Martin Luther King was a great guy. He was
he said we can't talk about our leaders. So
Martin Luther King to me was a fearless. Captain. Martin Luther King was a fearless man, fearless black man. I think he was a great man, brother. He sacrificed his life for his people, regardless of which way he did it. So what? We ain't got to agree with him, but
I think he
But
was.
I don't want to focus on.
We don't want to switch it
I
up.
want to focus
I
on
got
Martin
you.
Luther King. But what I'm simply
But the
saying
Bible
is,
say you judge by your intentions anyway. His
the Bible don't
intentions
say
were
that.
good for us. The
The Bible
points
don't
you
say that.
made
The Bible say he deserved death. But I don't want to talk about Martin Luther King.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. It said that dreamer. If that dreamer come, you want me to read it? You said it don't.
It's a whole bunch
No,
of.
you said the Bible. You said the Bible say it. So since you're talking about the Bible, let's go to Deuteronomy 13. It says, "If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and give it thee a sign or a
All
wonder."
right, hold on, y'all. One at a time. One at a time.
I thought she would respect the scripture. Deuteronomy 13:1. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and give it thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or wonder come to pass whereof he spake unto thee, saying, Let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God proveth you to know whether ye love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Verse 5. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death. So don't tell me that what he did was of God when what he did was against God. But I don't want to talk about Martin Luther King. You asked about.
Do you celebrate the death of Africans?
We about to say, in what capacity? Let me before I answer.
Do you celebrate the death of Africans? It's very clear. It's plain English.
Well, we got a Passover coming up, so that would be the death of the Egyptians.
Okay, but my question to you, and you can
just
answer by
answered
yes or no.
I just answered it.
You said we have a Passover coming, and you mentioned the Egyptians. Right now, you're buying
Are
time.
Egyptians? No. Are Egyptians not Africans?
Are you celebrating?
I'm asking you a question. I just said we have.
He doesn't want to answer because he knows it sounds bad. It sounds worse than MLK because MLK is one guy.
I think what I just said is worse than saying death of Africans because those deaths are African babies. You know what the Passover is about? The Passover is about when he passed over the firstborn sons of the Israelites, but killed all the firstborn sons and animals of the Egyptians who are Africans. I'm not dodging your question. I'm just expounding on it.
Well, okay, can you answer by yes or no then? Do you
yes,
celebrate the death of
I'm
Africans?
going to celebrate the Passover, which is about the death of Egyptians that were killing our babies. That's called justice.
He doesn't want to answer the question directly.
I said, yeah.
But
wait. I said, wait. What are you talking about?
So can you state for the record, I celebrate the death of Africans then? Go ahead.
So first you wanted me to say yes or no. You didn't want me to expound. Then when I say yes, now you want me to say it another way. Are you stuck on like you like an amateur? You're an amateur.
You can say that, but you're in your feelings right now. It's okay. You have the right.
I'm not in my feelings, man. I done answered the same question twice.
Brother. What? Okay, that's what I'm going to say. Say no more. I asked him if he celebrates the death of Africans, and he answered yes. So we heard it for the record. Cesaria, do you celebrate the death of Europeans?
I haven't seen a bunch of Europeans dead to celebrate.
Do you celebrate the death of Europeans?
You would have to help me understand why you're asking that question.
Yes or no, please. Yes or no, please.
I will.
Like you were quick to answer yes when I asked you to celebrate the death of Africans. Now I'm asking you to celebrate the death of Europeans.
Okay, that's so now twice. I'm gonna. No, wait. So when you ask me about the death of Africans,
support the death of Europeans. That's 3 times.
When you ask about the death of Africans, I referenced a actual holiday we have that celebrates. Yeah, listen to this
just like him.
Okay, no. To answer the
yes
question,
or no?
I'm just about to answer it. No. Now you may. Now I'm gonna say no, and then I'm gonna no sweat.
You're wrong. You don't know. Everybody on my circuit, they against the Israelites. We hate the Israelites. We can't stand their doctrine.
Microphone check 1 2. Mic check. Okay, sounds good. I hope you're doing well. The title of this video is Senator is a charlatan promoter. Brother Ankh snitching on everybody. Now, I've already shared the link to get on the panel, so feel free. I don't really plan on being too long. Just have a little bit of commentary, but not much. But for those who wonder why that title, you might as well hear it for yourselves right now.
I want your audience to hear that there's something called scientific literacy that will protect the Black women from the charlatans, okay, that get them. Y'all think y'all talked about it on the last broadcast. Y'all kind of talked about how women support these men. Well, they only
the same
support
charlatans
men.
that you roll with, those charlatans, you're coming on my platform
Oh,
to
Cyanide
tell
not a charlatan.
women
Cyanide not a
they can
charlatan.
be protected from the same charlatans you roll with.
No, Cyanide is not a charlatan. He's a charlatan promoter. And everybody know I've told him that to his face.
I'm sorry.
Cyanide, my brother. All is on tape saying Cyanide is not a charlatan. Cyanide is a charlatan promoter. Oh my nephew. 1 minute does it. Now what's interesting is that he actually said everybody knows I told that to his face, you know, so I'm wondering if that's accurate. I mean, this is one of the brother's closest ally, you know. Now, let me go through the comments. Well, if Bennett wrote, I'm listening as usual, but I'll be in about 45 minutes circa into your program. We have Donnie Williams in the place to be. Peace to you. We have the Elder James Powell in the place to be. Peace to you. V Bennett is saluting everybody in the chat. He will look at Reggie's face. And here finally he wrote law. Yeah. Now, earlier somebody left a comment. And he actually you know what? I will show it. This way I don't have to paraphrase. I don't have to paraphrase. Now it looks like there's a lot of debates coming up now. I remember somebody stating that in Rome, you know, eventually, you know, the ruler will come up with those events in the Colosseum. Now, I want to show you the comment. Hold on. That's it. So it's that one. It's that one here. What's the comment? It must be here. No, hold on. Is it this one? You know, it's funny on YouTube. I will show you what's funny. Let me share the screen. So this is yesterday's live stream here. Those are the comments. All right. Even Chief X came through. The comment I'm looking for is not here. So when you go to sort by and then newest first, and I go down, there it is. You see, born in the hood. So I don't know how large it shows here. Let me see. Okay. Hold on. All right. So you might as well go on full screen mode. But here, 20 hours ago, he wrote, that's why Americans don't F with Africans. That's foreigners. Y'all be hating. You're really smart at what you do and focus too much energy on African Americans. Wish you could visit the States to see what I'm talking about. So I first replied, are you against child molesters? And he replied, my message was 3 hours ago. Then two hours ago, he wrote, oh, it looks like he removed his other message. Oh, that's a shame. So he wrote, why not just seems from the outside you spend a lot of times. I guess he meant to write challenging here. And insulting African Americans. Then I guess here meant to write just. You see, just teach and people will love what you do. The more you go after African Americans, it seems like you just hate him. So I told him that I would like him to get on the panel if he doesn't mind showing his face because it's a requirement for everybody. I told him that I will go live and give him the link and I would. However, you can't lie on me saying that I insult African Americans. So, and I added, who told you that? Now I wonder if this is a new narrative because they will always try to come with some narrative. First, they try to say, "Oh, that's old news." Then they try to say that's gossiping. And now, who knows? Who knows? They might be saying, "Oh, this guy," you know. But maybe my reply. I don't see the full thing. It's a shame here. Okay, here we can see it. You can see it. See on the right there? Is it showing well? Yes, yeah, we can read. So he wrote, I've been watching and learning from you for, I guess he meant to write 4 years. 4 years, and I appreciate your knowledge. If you scroll down your videos, it seems to be about African Americans and their views. I don't know you ever been, I guess he meant to write, I don't know if you ever been to the United States, but foreigners from Africa and Hispanic areas come to America and show and act more prejudiced than European people. I'm just giving my opinion from the outside looking in. I think you should just focus on teaching. You're amazing. Keep it up. And I just told him I appreciate your stance and honesty. For the record, the people who support me the most are African Americans. You know, regardless of what people can say, that is a reality. The people who really supported me the most over the years. Oh, we have the elder James Powell. The brother, I think, has some connection issues, so it might be okay. So, oh, good fella Nella has joined us. V. Bennett wrote, because Ankh is known for telling the truth, lol. V. Bennett wrote, I screenshot any comment towards me because I know how these low-level persons are. African Americans support you, Shaka. Funny how they sleep. Oh, elders, that's it. That's it, Elder James Powell. Feel free to speak, brother. You're mute, though. Oh, you're frozen. Okay. We'll wait for the brother to be ready. It's just a connection issue. So African Americans support you, Shaka. Funny how they well, I don't know the word he meant to write. All the African Americans who are the main group supporting your page and work. Now, in the meantime, not only Uncle said that Sanetta is a charlatan promoter, he also said that Uncle lied. And it's very important to hear it. This is less than 1 minute.
Am I correct in that?
I got video. You don't believe me? I got video. Yeah, I do.
How you doing, Shaka?
What if I was to tell you that she wanted me to?
Elder James Powell, how I'm finding yourself. Oh, you're unlucky. The connection is still frozen. I don't know if you can hear me, but you're frozen. Oh, you're on mute now. But still your screen is frozen. I just heard, how you doing, Shaka? That's all. But let me play this lesson. Oh, now you're no longer on mute. Try to speak so we can see. Oh, there's no sound coming. I think it's a connection. But in the meantime, let me play that stuff here. Ankh saying that Cyanide lied on Brother Polite.
Am I correct in that?
I got video. You don't believe me? I got video. Yeah, I do. What if I was to tell you that she wanted me to interview her, Polite? Huh?
Are you not looking,
Her
brother?
mother. What if I told you she wanted me to interview her?
I'm listening to it. That's that old
And I
video,
said,
correct?
Nah, I can't.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do it.
I got the answer to that.
How you know? Leave me alone. Go about your scamming ass fucking life, nigga.
That's the old joint, am I correct? Yeah. Yeah, Cyanide told you he was lying. He said it. Said he lied.
He said he
Cyanide
lied.
He said he lied. He was mad at him. They was having a beef over some money, and he lied.
That was important that he said they were having some beef over some money, then he lied. So over some money, he can go publicly and insinuate that the guy's a child molester. That's one thing. And then go back to your scamming life. So he was a scammer then. Some people have said that Garfield has been scamming. It doesn't bother anybody. You know that those few seconds that I happened to be on when he was live streaming yesterday, and he, used so much profanity. He said, Garfield warned me, so him, being fake with his credentials, his invisible bachelor's degree in history is fine. Him scamming people is fine. Plagiarizing is fine. And it's the same Trackfield who tried to throw him under the bus, I don't recall if he said, Reggie warned me, but Reggie, he's not the most solid dude around. Besides, Sa himself said that Reggie committed treason. And that Dr. Ben must be rolling over in his grave, just like Khalid Abdul Muhammad must be rolling over in his grave when he hears what's going on there. Now, the question is very simple for everybody. Are you against child molesters, yes or no? That's it. You notice that some people will not answer that very simple question. And that's the main point of contention. I get some messages from people who you would think it's like World War III or something. Oh, the elder is back. Elder, how you doing?
Hello, doing good, Shaka. Look like I'm having a little internet problem out here in the country, man.
But it's okay now. Feel free to speak, Elder.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment on, what you were talking about, the charlatan bit. Unc wants to say that in the little video you were showing that he wanted to say that Cyanide wasn't a charlatan. I just want to get things clear so I understand it right. He was saying that he just allowed, I think, charlatans to come on his show, or he displayed the charlatans through his platform. Promoter. Yeah, a charlatan promoter. What do you think? Do you think you can right out say? I'm just asking. I don't know. I just want to get clarity on this. Can you really say he's a charlatan? But he does allow them because they're the frauds and the ones that falsely do things, if I'm understanding it right, right? Well, maybe Cyanide is for sure he's allowing them to be on there. I think he knows better with a lot of them. This is just my opinion. I don't mean to make Cyanide look bad, but like I said one time before on one of your lives that I don't owe to the young lady. I don't owe Cyanide nothing, man. And this is how I look at anybody, not just Cyanide. It's good that he's got a platform the size that he has so that he can really help our people get some of the real facts out there. And that's what I'm concerned about. Not just me, but all the rest of us, because we can be told wrong and led wrong and all that kind of stuff when people are not giving you the right information. So I think he knows a lot of them that are charlatans, and he's doing it for the publicity and for maybe the money that he might be able to get out of it. That's just my opinion, man. So I guess he should be tied in because, you know, it's his job. Even though he's got that platform, he's got to be responsible for it, man. He needs to be sure that the people he allow come on there to pass off this information, being it truthful or false, you know, he needs to be accountable for them to some degree anyway. I know some of them probably could lie to him or whatever, but he need to do some back, like they used to tell us. Well, I've heard it said, and I do source up too some, but they say source up or shut up. You know, that comes from I've heard, the first time I heard it was on the pseudo killers, you know. But yeah, you got to source up, and I think Cyanide, he's doing good on a lot of his learning about the different religions and stuff out there. But he got to source up on the people that he project off of his platform, just for, if he love his people the way he say he do, you know, I think he should do that. And that's the way that we need to clean up our community. And I'm seeing a lot of it being done because it's quite a few of them out there being exposed now. Garfield, I don't want to call too many names, but I think everybody know. You know, you gotta source up, not just the presenters. Cyanide needs to source up also on who he's letting get on his platform and present. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, you know, the young lady, like you said, you know, she's my elder, Sister Freedom. She just, you know, mentioned her YouTube channel. You know, I shared the link in the chat. I subscribe, and next thing you know, she has the mighty Hebrew on, the same guy who, according to Cyanide, went to jail for child molestation. And we've seen, you know, the record. There was just rape as well, you know, because people need to remember. I want people to remember that my main issue is people from the conscious community, Pan-African conscious community, who will not state for the record that they are against child molesters. And I think I know why they don't want to state that, is because if they state that, then the next question will be, then why do you have rapists and supporters of child molesters on your channel? And some people will say, oh, I never raped anybody. Oh, my brother never raped anybody. Doesn't mean that they did not molest any child. You see? So
Yeah,
some
well,
people have been, yeah, brother, feel free.
yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Shaka. And I've heard a lot of people kind of take some jabs at you about, why are you doing this? You know, these pedophiles and these molesters, they're old news. But just like you said, and you were just making an example and not saying you wouldn't and you're not going to come to the United States. But, you know, you just wanted to know if you did come to, you know, to New York, if he knew of where some of these child molesters were, you want to know maybe, you know, where they were, so you would know how to avoid that area or stay away from that area, or at least keep your children away from that area. You know, because these molesters and pedophiles, man, they don't look for no color. You know, they just, I guess, get a big thing off of children. You know, they get a big joy out of having something to do with children. That's a low life animal there. That's what I see. And any man or woman that does that, you know, they need to really check themselves, and we need to be aware of them, because I know it's a lot of these fathers out here, and I'm a father of 3. They're grown now, but you know, if they were children and small, that would be my responsibility to know about them also, you know, these child molesters. So I understand where you're coming from. I've said before, man, that I see you, man. You know how they say, I see you? I see you, Shaka.
Avatar.
I see what you do. I see what you're doing, brother. And I'm an old man, but I'm gonna tell you what, when I see somebody that's straight up, I don't care who you are, Smash, Ankh, any of them out there, if they doing the right thing, I'm gonna back them and I'm gonna be standing with them. But if they want to turn around the next minute and do the wrong thing, they're gonna see me all in their mug talking stuff about them and trying to get them straight. You know what I mean? So that's all you doing, Shaka, is just trying to keep them, the ones out there that's I mean, cutting these corners and misleading the people they so-called love so much. they get me with. I mean, they really get to me with that. I love my people stuff. The actions speaks louder than words, Shaka. That's what I was told years ago, and it's truthful even up to today, because it's many of us that will lie purposely and be smiling in your face while they do it.
Yeah,
that's sad.
It is sad. It is, and yes, some people have been sending me messages like you feel like it's World War III. Like, man, I'm not the one, being so profanity filled and like, it's no hate. It's just that, no matter who it is, I'm not down with people who are cool with, rapists and child molesters. You know what I'm saying? So, all these things like, oh, it's old news. We've been knowing about this. It shows irresponsibility, you know, and for him to try to embarrass me, try to make me look bad, which really was in a way protecting these rapists and child molesters, by putting the narrative like gossiping, you know, oh, that's gossiping, you know what I'm saying? Concluding by saying, oh, you need to stop with the gossiping. No, 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 you got me sadly mistaken. If you want to call that gossiping, more power to you. To me, it is not gossiping. It's very serious. I mean, that's the lowest of the low. People who touch on babies. You know, and in any community, that's how it is. You don't have a platform online for a particular community where rapists and child molesters or supporters of child molesters are invited on a regular basis. You don't see that. It's only, unfortunately, the black community with the so-called conscious community, Pan-African conscious community, and it's just sad. So many of you may have been told so many things about me, but remember, the narrative is I and others have an issue with convicted rapists being on the platform on a regular basis. But yeah, somebody's going to disagree, and it's going to be portrayed almost as like the devil itself. And people who publicly have supported convicted child molesters. That's the main issue. Everything else is just smokescreen. So, some people say laugh now, cry later. They try to act like, they got it on lock, but we can see there's been a lot of changes lately, you know what I'm saying? And it shows that they just want to do everything and say everything except addressing this issue. So those of you who are on Saneta's panel, who appreciate the brother, just asking the question. Just asking the question is very simple. Are you against child molesters? Yes or no? And let's see his answer. Just ask the question. Ask in the chat. Ask when you speak to him. You can ask live on air. You can ask in private. And once again, he doesn't want to say no. Of course, he doesn't want to say yes. I'm sorry. He doesn't want to say yes. Of course, he doesn't want to say no. He doesn't want to say no. I am not against child molesters. He would like to say yes, I am against child molesters, but he knows that if he says that, then people will say, well, why do you have one child molester on your panel on a regular basis? And why do you have a guy who have publicly expressed his support for a convicted child molester? And that's the issue. That's the problem. I don't mind people being loyal, but there should be some limits. You know what I'm saying? Now here we have Ankh saying that the guy is a charlatan promoter. But I guess some people like to have their boot kissed. Just like Reggie was called the B word, and he's still there. Some people are desperate. You give them a little change, and they will remain them even if you disrespect them. And I think maybe some people got used to that. You know what I'm saying? They got used to that so much, and they feel like, oh, it doesn't matter what I say to him or what I do to him, he'll be back. But not everybody's like that. So the main issue, remember, brothers and sisters, is the children. Do we care about the children? We should all be unanimous about that. You know what I'm saying? Now, Trackfield, he spoken out about that. I mean, how much of a neophyte and ridiculous so-called scholar that he is, he still spoke about that. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was more in defense of polite, and he has a right to defend everybody, the guy is innocent until proven guilty. But now I'm thinking, well, maybe he just said it because those guys happen to be Hebrew Israelites, and at the time he was, more or less against the Hebrew Israelites because of his book. You know, But his next book, he won't say that he wants to deal with Kemet. So he's going to throw salt at Kemet. He's been trying for a while, and it may take him longer than he expected, because we've seen how his team just basically, passed away on December 31st, 2022. But remember, do not be fooled. Do not go for the okey doke. We have a lot of smoke screens. So they will say, oh, the guy is just a hater. Or they will say the guy talks about everybody. I mean, during all those years that we had the so-called conscious community, people have been talking about so many people. Those are just smoke screen. If you care about the children, if you care about the babies, just ask this question. And you will be surprised. You don't even need to ask just a Cyanide. You can ask other people as well. You will notice that some people will not want to answer because it is a reality. Yes, brother.
It's called riding the fence, Shaka.
Yeah.
And they know what they're doing. And I think when it comes to Cyanide, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I appreciate him, because of his platform, but I don't like the fella because a lot of times, like I told you last time, I see him trying to here and there try to get right. Like he told him, like I saw a show. He said, "Man, one of them said, ain't that right, Sa? Didn't I say that, Sa?" Cyanide said, wait, man. Don't bring me in on y'all's conversation. This conversation is between you two. When I saw him do that, I felt kind of good. But you can't ride the fence sometimes and then stand up like you Mr. or do it all right. And then they want to make excuses later on. And I know none of us are perfect. I know that. But don't ride on that excuse just to get away with what you're doing. And I see kids do it a lot, little children. I didn't know. I didn't mean to do it, but I did it. It was an accident. You see little kids do that. I raised my 3. I laughed at that. Raised a lot of my nieces and nephews. And I saw that that's the way children are. But, we have a lot of grown children. I hate to say it. And I know we all are still learning because, like I said, I just had a birthday February the 1st. And I'm still learning. I just had a birthday, but I'm still learning, man. And I'm gonna learn how to share on the YouTube, and I'm gonna do some researching and bring up some stuff and not put back and hide things like some of these ministers do in the churches. Some of them preachers, I saw it when I was coming up and when I was young, man, they preached that old good-hearted sermon to make you feel good so that you'd give a good offering and you'd keep tithing, but when it comes to telling the truth about being whoremongers and, even I'm quite sure it covered some of this rape and child molesting and all that, even though they say the Bible agrees with the rape going on, especially with the Hebrewites. I mean, Hebrews, the little piece you were showing, talking about, yeah, when the little girls get their flower at 12, she's a woman, then we can have something to do with her. Ain't no daddy in the world, man, that's gonna want their little girl being bothered by a grown behind man like me. You know what I mean? And ain't much I can do anyway at my age. But the old man ain't completely through. But a young man that's got all that energy and vigor getting hold to a little 12 or 9-year-old girl, that's crazy, man. No, that's crazy.
And they're saying it proudly. Yeah, go ahead, Val.
Yeah, we're gonna be able to get them when we come into the kingdom. We're gonna be able to get them at 12. We're gonna just have all have whatever we want to do with all these little young girls. And one more thing I wanted to say when it comes to, like you say, what was that Hebrew? The one that's over there in Africa.
Mighty Hebrew, yes.
Mighty Hebrew. Okay, I was watching Cyanide the other day, as a matter of fact, a couple of days ago, as a matter of fact. And he called Cyanide and said, man, I done paid for my flight, Cyanide. I'm going to see you in March. I'm coming in. It was either for his birthday or somebody's birthday, but he was coming to see Cyanide. And Cyanide, I guess, he's a friend of mine. I'm going to say he's got his arms open. We had a good time when I think they went up to the back where the main office is in Chicago. They got a big Hebrew office up there or something. And all the big chief Hebrews, had open arms for Sinetta when he went to Chicago. They really had their arms open for him, and they showed him a good time. And he just really it's up to him, man. He really enjoyed himself, and if you enjoy yourself around people that that do all kinds of crazy things, it's been said birds of a feather, they flock together, bruh.
It's
And
problematic.
and just like Polite too. I heard some stuff a while back, and I had a chance to look at a lot of that mess when Cyanide and Polite was really doing it up, and Polite was getting him a lot of views, and I don't know what else was going on, but it probably was some money deals and everything else going on, because you know how it go, man. We all do. If we just seen it in movies or whatever, how these crooked things go on. And if you got a pure heart, and it don't have to be totally pure, but if you mean to do right, you just gonna stay away from people like that, man, and just things and actions like that. And I just see Sinetta trying to be on the middle of the fence, man. He dipping and dabbing, you know what I mean? And I just want to say it so that the people can take a good look at the fella, man, and just say, if you want to say I forgive him, and he can go ahead and do that, cause I'm dipping and dabbing just like him. And I'm gonna be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, we all know we're not human. Put it this way, we all know that we're not perfect. We're human, but we're not a perfect human. So they know that, well, Sinetta ain't perfect, man. I'm gonna give him a pass. And 9 times out of 10, if they're on his side and giving him a pass, you better believe somewhere down the line they're doing the same thing. You know what I mean? And it just don't make it right. And ain't no way we gonna have a better world like that Bible say. Everything's gonna be. I mean, when God's kingdom come in, it's gonna be no more this and no more that. That's what I heard as a child. You know what I mean? I don't believe that garbage now, man. That's just all it is. I don't believe it. It was gonna come in when I was a child, like I told you before. Here I'm an old man now, and they still talking about we in the last days and all this gonna come in and happen. We're gonna have that beautiful kingdom. Your kingdom is right here on earth while you're living. You make it the way you want to be. You know what I mean? The way you want it to be if you work at it. And you don't mind getting out there working and making things happen. Make your kingdom now while you're living. Like they say, give them their flowers now while they're living. Don't give them no flowers when they're laying in the dirt down there, because they ain't going to see it and they don't know how to appreciate it. Give them their flowers now and make your kingdom now. Make your heaven now, people, while you're here. Because in my opinion, and God forgive me, as much as I know about him, if I'm wrong, he done took his time too much. He done took too long to either be showing more signs. They talking about, the Bible talks about wars and rumors of wars. Wars been going on thousands of years before we ever got here, man. And they probably going to be going on if this world continue to be here and they don't get a hold of a nut, because we got so much power today in them nuclear warheads. We don't get a nut that push them buttons, or 2 nuts that push them and just destroy this world completely. So, that's about all I wanted to say. You let me get it out. And like I say, Shaka, I always appreciate you, because you allow me to come on your platform, man. I don't usually go on anybody else's, because I see too much of the clicking going on. But that's one thing I can say about you, Shaka. You don't do no clicking, bro. You'll let anybody come on here and speak their piece. Some of them get at you now. And they get at you hard, but you do allow them to come on here. And what you ask is just to do what I'm doing right now. And that's just to show your face, bruh. Let us see who we talking to. Show your face, young lady. Don't throw all your jabs and stuff, and don't let us see who's throwing those jabs. Hey.
Are you talking about the OnlyFans lady?
Any of them, man. I'm talking
she shows
about
her
any and all of
face,
them.
but she doesn't get on panels. But Elder, this is something very interesting. 2 things actually. Well, not just 2 things, but it's 2 things I want to interject about. The first thing is that no, I will go in not in chronological order. You talked about, it says, the kingdom will come and so on, but in the Bible it says at one point, like, there's something attributed to Jesus where it says not one generation will pass before like 1 or 2, but basically the way he worded it, he should have been there. He should have arrived. He should have been done. But the other thing, I think it says not one generation will pass. before I come back. And of course, I'm paraphrasing. If people want to challenge me on that, I can look it up. It shouldn't take long. The other things that you said, that Mighty Hebrews told Sar he's coming, so obviously we're gonna see Sar with the Mighty Hebrew, like nothing happened. But I guess sometimes the numbers. I don't mind people getting their papers straight, but at some point, if you're just gonna associate yourself with people, somebody has been convicted for raping rape for minor, then hey, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just be more upfront to just say, look, uh, that's how I am with child molesters, rapists. I'm if he wants to say it's cool with them, so this way we're no longer surprised. I was just surprised. I wasn't expecting that. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see what happens. I don't know when he will come, but in the meantime, on his platform, he has a guy who has publicly stated that he supports somebody who was convicted for child molestation, and I think it's very serious. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, they can do their thing. They can do their thing. It's not the end of the world, man. I mean, I could go I could go in a different way, but I'm like, other people they teach that we are marked, disfigured, and stuff like that. And I think it's still worse to be associated, with people who publicly show their support towards child molesters. But even if the person doesn't do it himself, I mean, at some point, what about dignity? What are we teaching our children? What is the message that we're showing to our children? Some of our children are going to look at this and say, well, I can even rape. And I can still be on this conscious community platform, and that's a sad message, in my opinion. But we have a whole host of monkey moderators who are pushing that narrative. I think like nothing happened. There's an expression, the elephant in the room. Nobody sees the elephant in the room. You know what I'm saying? But hey, what can I
Yes,
say?
sir.
What can I
Yes,
do?
sir. I know what you're saying, man. But like you said, you could go at it a different way. But as much dirt that's piled on top of us as a people, they're gonna be looking at anything, and they try to, use us as the whipping board or whatever. And every little thing we do ain't no good. See, that's why they're being treated like this. And back to Farrakhan, that's why they're cursed, because they're still doing all these old bad things, not just us. I'm gonna tell you, anybody in this world can do wrong, man, and they are doing wrong just like us. But I think we have a responsibility as a so-called civilization to keep things in check that's not right for the civilization, and to also, of course, we can straighten up after we made a mistake, but to be sure that we've straightened up, the person that did the wrong, and they should be held accountable, and at least stand up and say, especially when you're in a community like ours, you're able to get up there and teach what you want to teach, or what you so-called prove yourself to be good at, and teach other people that, let them know about your background, man. Let them know what you did. Just like me, I've tried to lay out everything I can about me. Like I say, ain't no way I'm perfect. And I think these child molesters, if they so-called change, let the people know, even especially if we know about them and they hear us bringing them up in the community, and there's no way they can't hear or don't know, because they have all kind of access to go on anybody's platform. If not like I am now, catch the rerun of the video. They can do that. And if they hear people talking about them, man, at least, hey, say, let me address that. Let me go on Shaka's platform and let him know exactly how I am. Hey, man, this is what I would do. I made that mistake. My dad didn't teach me about sex when I was a child, and it grew up in me. I was concerned about it, and I wanted to know about it, and I was scared to go to a woman and ask her about it. So I took a little innocent child and just examined them for myself. And I made that mistake, but that's the way I did it. But I am sorry for that, y'all. I'm sorry, and I'll never do that again in my life. Now, if somebody did that, and I mean broke it down like that, I would give them a second look. But I'd always keep an eye on them, but I would give them a second look because they broke down what they did and how they did it, and they asking for forgiveness, and even God forgives you. And I think he said 70 times 7 or something like that. One of those forgiving patterns that he had. But you know, go ahead, go ahead.
No, 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 you go ahead. I was thinking about the figures, the figure that you mentioned. But go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I was on a little roll there, but I guess I can get it back up. But I was just saying, yeah, boy.
You know, one funny thing you said that you talked about background. We have some people in the conscious community. We don't even know their real name. They have a conscious community name. We don't even know their credentials because they have degrees that nobody have seen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people have said that they've been scamming. You know what I'm saying? And we heard them defending themselves against the scamming accusation. It was just bananas. It's just sad. It's just sad. You know, it's just sad.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. And y'all can get mad at Shaka. I'm gonna say this last little bit because I'm looking at my battery there. I was sitting over on the porch. I'm gonna walk back over there. I was sitting on my back porch, and I'm gonna walk over here because I have my charger over here. And if I can get back over here, and I turned my Wi-Fi on because it was off. That's why my router is right there close in that bedroom right there. And it gave me a message saying, your connection is not good right now, but if you get closer to the router, it'd probably be better. And I just checked everything to find out if my Wi-Fi was on, and I found out it wasn't even on. So what I'm gonna do is plug up. I'm gonna plug everything up. I bought my extension cord out here, and I saw my battery was already low. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug it up and see. I see we still talking. This is where I was when it told me, gave me all those messages about. Okay, it's working, but I didn't have my Wi-Fi on. That's what the problem was. But I'm kind of surprised. There's nobody else on the panel too. Just me and you talking, bro.
I'm not that surprised, because they want to talk about what happened like 10,000 BC, 5,000 BC. That's not all news. But when it's time to criticize, you have some news in the back. But when it was time to criticize the child molesters, we don't have that many people.
Yeah, I think people are afraid. They're afraid of this topic, Shaka. That's what it is. They're just afraid of it, and things that we're afraid of, most of us, we shy away, and that's what this is. You can shy away from this, but it's other things that we shouldn't be afraid of also. I don't want to sound militant and gangster, but we should stand up for a lot of other things as a people, and maybe we will have better consequences. We'll have better things that'll happen for us if we stand up and stop being so fearful, man. Of course, when you stand up for stuff, bad things can happen to you. Yeah. And bad things could have happened to me long time ago, Shaka, because I was always a stand-upper. And I stood up in conversation like I'm doing now. I'm not the best with talking, but I stood up in conversation. I got my point across. And as we can always talk a good game about how bad we was when we were young and we would fight, but I would do that too when the time came for that. And I won a few, but I won a whole lot. I lost a few, but I won a whole lot too. Now, don't get me wrong. I think you have to learn how to lose too. You can't just be undefeated. Like they call Ali, he's the greatest, but he lost a couple too, didn't he?
Fights, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
A few fights, yeah.
So that's just something that we got to learn how to do as a people. I might not see it in my lifetime, Shaka. My life is starting to wear down, brother. And I know it because I know life. You youngsters out there better learn life. And it's just some I don't know, an old man trying to pass on some knowledge and wisdom. And that's what we mainly be about when we get old. We're about passing on information now because there's not too much we can do now, youngsters. I still do a few things. I got plenty of room out here where I'm at. I got me a zero-turn lawnmower. I cut my own grass still. I got my table saw and circular saw. I fix and build things just to stay busy. A lot slower now, but I still do it. You got to stay active if you want to continue to live. You just can't, once you retire, just sit down and do nothing. But what I'm talking about us as a people, and if we're going to graduate and go on. We got to do more than talk about it, people. We got to get out there and stand up, not like Martin did, maybe not like he totally did. That was the good thing that he did. He stood up and he had the people back him, and he said, hey, I'm not going to try to get all y'all killed, so we're going to do it non-violently. This is what I see in his whole march in action. He said, I'm not going to get y'all get out there and get violent and try to fight this country, because we can't beat them.
Yeah.
But we're gonna mentally get in their head, and we're gonna make them see where they're wrong about how they're doing us and treating us as a people. And that's what we got to do today in this time and in this generation. We got to do that now in this generation. We still can't beat them, but we got to get out there and at least stand up and speak the truth to them, and look them dead in their eye and say, hey man, you wrong. Y'all wrong about what you're doing. And that's our problem. We run from that. We shy away from it. I see Mr. B. Bennett now. What's going on, brother? I'm gonna let you talk some, because I'm running my mouth too much now. Go ahead, bro.
No, I'm enjoying. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud
Yeah.
and clear, brother.
Yeah, we hear you, man.
I'm enjoying it. Keep going, brother Powell. I'm listening.
I saw
agree,
one of the
Elder.
comments.
Yeah, you're
that-
wrong, and that's what we're telling them. You're wrong. You cannot be silent about child molestation, and you cannot just diss so many people, but you're not going to address, those rapists and child molesters. But go ahead, Elder. I'm listening. I'm enjoying it as well.
Well, I hope everybody else is too. I know I enjoy you and B. Bennett, man. I know I'm glad to see him on here too, because not that I'm feel like I'm talking too much, because you keep telling me to go ahead, and if it spills out of me, and the Bible talks about that too, because like I said, I was taught and brought up that way. He said, the Bible says, as you learn the word, as it's put in you, when the time comes, it's going to flow out of you like water. You don't have to worry about thinking about what to say. It'll come out automatic. And I've seen that in a lot of my lifetime. I've seen it in a lot of my athletic abilities when I was a young man. I get out there. I know I wasn't no LeBron James, Michael Jordan. I watched both of them, LeBron in today and Michael back in the day, because I don't care what they say a lot about LeBron. I know he just passed Kareem, but one of the baddest brothers I've seen out there, and I've seen a lot of good players. I mean, from centers, 7-footers like Shaq, Kareem, Elijah Wan. I've seen them all, but Michael Jordan was the most tenacious I've seen. And I know LeBron is good, and I give him his props for what he did. But they changed this game called basketball and cut back a lot of stuff on them that they didn't have going on back in the day. Same thing with football. These games have been toned down and softened up. These boys today, they good, but they playing in a soft league, bro. They playing with soft ways. It's not that tough on them. They had it hard back in the day. I'm gonna tell you, them Detroit boys with Isaiah, them boys, they were some bad boys, man. And when you went to play them, you had to be pretty much fighting on the court, because that's the way they bought it to you. And if you couldn't take it and was a crybaby, you got on off the court and accepted that loss. And that's what we need to learn how to be today. We don't have enough tenacity and toughness, not just physically, but we got to have some mentally too. We got to know how to think our game. Like I hear a lot of these people that have these pages. I don't know if you want to call them on YouTube pages, but these panels, when they have these panels and stuff, and they say, well, what I teach my people here, when you're talking about the ones in the chat, what I teach them is critical thinking. I teach them how to think and all that kind of stuff. And if that's what's going on, I hear them saying that. But if you're going to think critically, you're going to learn how to act critically too. That's just my word right there. I could be wrong as I want to be, but you got to do more than just think. You got to put your thinking into action. Back like I told you, when I was in football and I was coming up just learning middle school, high school, and coming on up, they told us, you got to plan your work, fellas. And the way you plan it is you get out on this practice field and you practice. This is the planning period here. But then the way you put it to work, you get out there on the field when the game is at hand, and you get out there and you win the game and make it happen. If you don't win the game, that means the planning period wasn't done well enough. Some message wasn't got. So we got to go back out there on the planning field and the coaches really put it on you a little tougher that after a loss, because hey, we need to work a little harder. If it was the part where we had to run after practice, or if it was just learning the plays and making sure he watched you to see if you was going through the right hole, because I was running back. And on defense, I played cornerback. I played both ways too back in the day, but today they only play one way. And if everybody's, you know, they pretty and they look good and they stylish, but you don't see that winning where everybody's got all this domination like they did back in the day. Look at Willis Reed and the man that played for the Celtics. He just died not too long ago. The brother Bill Russell. I mean, both them were some bad boys. I was a child and watching them. Man, Bill Russell had 6 championship rings. Some of these players today, if they get one, they're happy with it. I think LeBron, he's had a few now. But if you can win 6, you're a bad man in my book. That's the way I feel. And if we're going to be some bad people like our ancestors was back in the day, we're going to have to get out there and go to work, people, and not on an individual basis. We're going to have to do it as a group. We're going to have to stop all this fighting each other, and just cause you light and I'm dark, or you short and I'm tall. If we are one race of people and considered, especially the way they deal with us over here in this country, if you black and you got that dark skin, you ain't none of them. I don't care how hard and how bad you want to be one of them. Even the mulattoes, the ones that got that light skin, you ask them if you one of them, and they're going to look at you like you're crazy if you believe you one of them. So we're going to have to come together as a people, and that's all colors. And they say over in Africa, they got the people that's light-skinned and never had nothing to do with another race, or even the Caucasians, because that's where everything get lightened up in us. We got to come together as a people, and I mean all of us in different colors and nationalities, as you want to call it, or whatever, because some of us is Jamaican and some of us is Trinidadian, and in Cyanide's case, he's Dominican. You know, we got to just come together as a total one group, and we be so serious about being in that group and making things happen. I guarantee you, that's just my thinking. I guarantee you, something will happen in a positive way once we learn how to do that. I've always had that in my mind. Man, I appreciate you, Shaka. I know you way over there in France, bro, but you still a brother. That's the way I see you. I ain't gonna call you no Frenchie. I done saw them pick at you and they call you Frenchie. They call you all kind of names. And I just sit back and look. And you just as black as me and them. But they want to pick at you. And that's one of our biggest problems, bro. I know we've been separated and we've been taken here, there, and everywhere. But we still Africans, if you want to realize it, black folks. We gonna be Africans, and they know it. As long as they can keep us separated and doing what we doing to stay away from each other and not come together as one, we ain't going nowhere, and we ain't gonna do nothing but on an individual basis. When we have a great one like LeBron James or AD or any of the rest of them, like that y'all know better than me today who the great athletes out there today. But we need to be better than just an athlete. We need to learn how to be good in all these other responsible areas too, doctors and lawyers, because when some of us get in trouble, we're gonna need somebody to go to, like brother man that I can't think of his name, Ben Crump. Yeah, he's always there when somebody jump on some of our families and beat them to death or kill them. If it's the police or whoever, he's right there to be there for them. I bet you that man got that. He got to be a millionaire now by all the money he done helped our people get from having some of our children or some of these women husbands beat to death, and he have to go there and represent them and really make them white folks stand up and pay for it, you know. But we need to make them pay for it more than just in a financial way. We need to make them pay for it by making them respect us and say, hey, no, I ain't gonna mess with them folks right there, because they don't play. You mess up and mess with them, they're gonna make you pay for it, and they ain't gonna just go to riding. They're gonna hit you in your pocket, and that's where you can hurt them at the worst. You go to their pocket and take some of them finances from them. They'll start backing off of you and leaving you alone because you showing them that you got some sense and you know values just like they know values. That's just like out here in the country where I'm at right now. The value is land, bro. You know, in the city, everybody's stacked on top of each other. I know about it. I lived down there in Miami for 30-some years, but I'm back up here home where I came from. It even talks about that in the Bible when the census time was going on. Everybody had to go home to be, you know, go through the census and find out who's still here or who was still there in that area. Then they counted them. So it's the same way once you get out there as a youngster and leave home and go out there and sow them wild oats and make your living or whatever. Eventually, when you get old like me, you go on back to the house where you know people know you and they care about you. Because in the city, you got to watch everywhere you go. You got to watch your back, and you don't even know your neighbors a lot of time. The reason that I know that, because I went through it, bro. And I was always the outsider, somebody new, because I was a military brat also. You know, I've been a lot of places, Germany. I've been all over the place. Some of it was when I was little. I was a baby, but I remember when I was about 6 or 7, Dad kind of retired after that. But I remember learning the German language and being the interpreter. And as a child, I picked it up so easy. I take my mom downtown. I think I said it one time on your show, Shaka, and be the interpreter for her. And like I still know my name in German now, and which it is Jakob. My name is James, but it's Jakob. That's James in German. And I can still got fragments and bits and pieces of it. But like they say, if you don't use it, people, you lose it. I don't care what it is. That's truthful. Very truthful. And that's just coming from an old man. B. Bennett, talk, man.
Yeah. I was enjoying listening to you, brother. Thank you for your wisdom also. Believe it or not, it's something that more of us need. So it's a blessing that you're over here on this platform. You know, that's why I'm patient. You know, I'm not in no rush because, like you said, it was flowing out. One of the things I appreciated is that your relationship with the Bible is a peaceful one. You could pick out the useful things and put it into action in your own life. And you don't have to go into some of the other elements.
Brothers, I won't lie. I'm quite. Oh yeah, go ahead, Bennett. Go ahead.
Oh, but one thing before you bounce out, tomorrow's going to be a big day, Shaka, because I'm free from work. So I'm going to be here in full effect. But I wanted to say something regarding the conversation. While we talk about what's going on over in Cyanide's platform and the company he keeps, I just want to give some background. All of that stuff has been going on while in New York City in New York City between the year of 21 and 22, no, 2020 and 21, sexual assault on women jumped 320% in New York City, right? And the largest group of them are Black women. So while those guys sit over there and think about how they want to do things, what's important to talk about, and all of this stuff, the reality of it is that how can we find precedents in all these other things at the same time? Sexual assault in New York City jumped 320%. They should be screaming about that. And this pedophilia thing connects right with it. At the same time, that doesn't even include Bambaataa. That doesn't even include the boys, the men.
I'm sorry. I'm so glad you
That's all
mentioned
I wanted to
Bambaataa
say,
because I
y'all.
want to say.
That's all I wanted to say. I'm gonna let you be, Shaka.
Thank you for that, Bennett, because I'm so glad you mentioned Bambaataa because I remember those ISUPK dudes, they were running with Hassan Campbell, you know, acting like, oh, we're against child molesters. But really, it was clout. It was clout. Just like recently, they try to have clout, you know, within the industry, the music industry, because if they were really against it, we wouldn't have the guy on tape saying, "Oh yeah, he was found guilty, but he's not guilty. I support him." You know what I'm saying?
And
Sending money and stuff like. Yes, brother. Yes.
And we got people worried about some queer dude wearing a wig being a front to his manhood. But that 320% jump in sexual assault of women is not a front to your manhood.
Now,
what's more of a front?
These
I don't get
figures,
it.
Yeah. Who published those figures?
New York State.
The New York State. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
You know, and guess what?
Mhm.
And guess what? You could be in France and find those figures.
Mhm.
They're published every. If you can find them, and if you can find them where I'm are, you should damn well know them when you living in New York. There's no excuse. But
So
yet,
it went up
people worried
300%,
about
right?
other stuff.
300%.
320% in 1 year.
Congratulations,
And
Pan
then
African Conscious Community.
the year after, it jumped another 25% or 22%. So, what are these guys doing? Um, we have to stop learning how to jump on buzzwords that point at our phobias, because we all got phobias, and stop taking intellectual shortcuts.
Hmm.
And that's an oxymoron in any way, intellectual shortcuts, because you can't take them and be an intellectual. But you could see how we deal with some things that we just over and over and over just want to stumble through these issues like buffoons. And then when you run across a person like myself or any serious black man, you're going to find out that there's no shortcuts over here. You can't sit at a table with serious people and take intellectual shortcuts about any topic. You see, because the choices you make, they affect other people. The things you say, they affect other people. You see, and you have to be aware of that when you're a role model. You have to be when you're speaking on these platforms. You have to be. And all I could say is we're gonna have some fun. It's just getting started, and we have all day. Remember, it's not the rabbit that won the race. It's the tortoise. We're gonna walk this one
Turtle.
out.
Hmm.
It's the turtle. We're
Hmm.
gonna walk this one out. We don't have any need to rush. We do our due diligence, and we're not going to make fools of our community and fools of our elders and fools of our history and fools of ourselves. You see, you're going to get something. You're going to get more. Every day, you're going to get more out of this platform. Unfortunately, we're just everyday people. Two, we do our jobs. Shaka is your platform. Everybody supports Shaka. Send a cash out. The other thing is this: I'm not doing it for a cash out. I, I've never volunteered. I volunteered 10 years of my life to people of African descent in Europe doing actual real work. And my inspiration was my hometown, Washington, D.C. Okay. Um, I came over here to start the first organization in this country. You see what I'm saying? You don't know how much study went into that. You see what I mean? And how much willingness to learn, sit down and listen and learn from others. You see? So I've grown a lot through that process. What I'm saying is that only grown men can help others grow. Grown boys cannot. They cannot. And we need to stop playing games with that. I'm listening out. You take the show wherever you want to go, Shaka. Thanks for your for coming in today, pal, as usual, brother.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, brothers. I ain't gonna lie. I'm feeling like the tiredness, if that's the word. So I want to cut this stream short. I might live stream tomorrow, but I think the next live stream the title will be "Are you against child molesters? Yes or no?" I want the people who are listening. Um, I'm not planning on focusing on Cyanide. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's just that unfortunately, it has some rapists and supporters of child molesters on this platform, and he went on their side, going against me just over what somebody else said. Him putting somebody's phone number and telling people to look him up. I mean, to tell people to look him up is one thing, but to put his phone number out, that's just bad. So, you know, I don't there's no need for him to play the victim. Like, you know, like when I went on his platform, I talked about some people, wasn't here smiling at time laughing, so if he's made of tough skin, I'm not slandering the guy. I don't even feel like I'm attacking the guy, you know what I'm saying? he has plenty of opportunity to separate himself from these rapists and child molesters that get on this platform. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but so people, I want them to understand. I'm not planning on focusing on him, but anybody that's given a platform to rapists and child molesters, they're not good in my book. And so far, the one that's resisting, criticizing them, resisting, separating himself from them, is that brother, Cyanide. So it's a matter of choice. You know what I'm saying? But the others, I don't think they will be that bold. But that might change because now they're setting a new stance. Now they're trying to make it acceptable because it comes from the scriptures. So we're gonna get some clarity. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. It's not the end of the world. And we're gonna get some clarity, all right? So thank you, brothers. Thank you, James Power. Thank you, Elder, for being there. Thank you, VBNet for being there. And I thought I would make the last stream longer, but I can feel it. I'm really getting exhausted, so I'm gonna go to bed early today. So I'm gonna say stay safe, stay healthy. If I'm allowed to by the nature, I will definitely holler back at you. I don't argue, I state facts. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. 22 Hotel.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving middle nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody is interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neture classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class, and all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Netia class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.